Good morning, everyone. We are coming to you live via Facebook streaming, YouTube streaming, and also via Skype. Each one of you is welcome to this live streaming from our studios in Trinidad. Sutras of Vigyan Bhairav Tantra, the entire spiritual life is to find eternal in the changing. There are two things. For transformation, your approach needs to be pragmatic and razor sharp. Pragmatic meaning there is no idealism, there is nothing except what is practically possible. That approach should be so that the process of transformation can gain momentum and continue. When we look at the life, there is something in you which is eternal, which never changes with the passage of time or anything. Something that goes on changing. Change happens on the periphery. If we take a simple example of a point on a piece of paper, using that point, we draw a circle. Circle has two things, a circumference and a center. The center is connected to the circumference. Circumference is connected to the center. If the distance from the center to that circumference changes, the circle will be different, the circumference will change. But the center will remain the same. You can draw 4 circles using different radius. There will be 4 circumferences, 4 circles, but the center will remain the same. Center is the one that never changes. You drive vehicle. Vehicle have an axle. The 2 front wheels are connected to one axle. Axle is one. The 2 wheels are the circumference. Not the 4 wheels are connected to the same axle. If left front wheel moves, the right must move because both are connected to the same circumference, connected to the same center, same axle. We focus on the circumference and in the process we forget the center. This is because of our conditionings, because of our belief system, and so many other things. When we look at it, religion is supposed to connect one another. But what we see out of ignorance, out of certain reasons, religion divides. Religion has been the cause of conflict all around us. There are certain things basic medically. The breathing is essential for life. But how you use your breathing, that is a technique. Your body, your vehicle, 2 people buy the same brand of vehicle for continuation of their life. The vehicles are same. You may have certain accessories, add some gadgets. It may look different, but the basic principle on which it works, it remains the same. So there is something which never changes, and all changes happen on that which is unchanging, which never changes. Does this mean a child will not breathe because he is a child? Only the adult will breathe? Or a Muslim will breathe in a different manner than Christian or a Hindu? Breathing is the normal process. Everybody breathes, but the technique of breathing may differ. When you are angry, your breath movement becomes different. When you are relaxed, your breathing is same. This does not change with the age or religious belief. The only thing is the words that you may use during the moments of anger may differ from one another. This is changing. But the breath movement remains the same. Everyone, when someone is hurt, emotions are hurt, we cry. It is normal. So when you are able to look at that we are not aliens, nor as strangers. We are bound to each other by a causeless force. That causeless force is God or consciousness or whatsoever you may call. You may give a different name to it, does not matter. You may use for cooking an induction coil burner or an open flame or anything. Both work on the same principle, but outwardly they look different. So the entire effort of the spiritual life is to discover the same, what is there that is common between you and me. Your blood, the blood of the two persons may be common, the same capillary system, the same way the blood flows. The process of the nourishment of a plant through the capillary system in the stem remains the same. It's not that a particular plant will get nourished in a different way than the other. But what happens, this particular plant is designed to bear the rose flowers, next one dahlia or chrysanthemum or marigold. But the process through which the marigold nourishes its plant, carrying the nourishment from the roots to the leaves and the buds, will not be different in rose and marigold. The entire process of a spiritual life is to find the eternal in changing, to find that which is always same, that which never changes, that which is never born, never dies. That is your center. If you can remember that center, only then this technique will be easy. Only then you can be spiritual. And you remember this oft used, very common line from Sri Aurobindo Savitri. We are not in the book of love. We are not aliens nor as strangers join. We are bound to each other by a causeless force. There is a power that knows beyond our knowings. We are not aliens nor as strangers join. We are bound to each other by a causeless force. Only then will this technique will work. If you can do this technique, remembering will become easy from both ends. You can travel. You can travel from circumference to the center, from the center to the circumference. When you are interacting in the office, as a commuter on the road, or anywhere, you have to operate from the circumference. And you remember, your circumference is not imaginary. It exists only because of the center. If the center is removed, the circumference will lose its significance. Try this technique. The technique is to be the unsame same to friend and to the stranger. To be the unsame same to a friend, to a stranger. There are two things. First is, there is something that never changes in you and something that is constantly undergoing changes. Then you are meeting two types of people, one who is friend, the other who is a stranger to you. You treat the stranger differently than the friend. When you are in love, you treat the person differently than when love has vanished. To the friend and to the enemy or to the stranger, be the unsame same. What does this mean? It simply seems contradictory how we can use the two words unsame same. It seems contradictory. In a way, you will have to change because your friend comes to meet you. You have to meet him differently. And if a stranger comes, you will have to meet him differently. How can you meet a stranger as if you know him already? You cannot. How can you meet the stranger as if you know him? You cannot. The difference will be there, but still deep down remain the same. Attitude must remain the same, but the behavior will be unsame. The attitude, the understanding will remain the same, but the behavior will be unsame. You cannot meet an unknown person as if you have already known him. How can you? You can pretend at the most, but pretension will not do. The difference will be visible and it will be there. There is no need to pretend with a friend that he is a friend. When a stranger, even if you try to act as a friend, he is a friend, it will be pretension, something new. You cannot be the same unsameness. The difference will be necessary. As far as behavior is concerned, you will be different. But as far as your consciousness is concerned, it can remain the same. The consciousness says that a friend and a stranger carry the same spark of divinity within them. With a friend you can communicate in a different manner than with the stranger, but both are carrying the same spark. I will give you an example. This I had seen in Trinidad as well as in the behavior of the Indian Prime Minister. Your house is under construction. There are workers who are working. They are shabbily dressed because they have to go in the sand and mud and everything. Their clothes may be dirty. If you have to offer them food, would you allow them, your friend and that person, to sit down at the same dining table to have the food together? It's difficult because you look at the appearance of the person, but you forget this person is doing some construction, some renovation in your house that will give it a new form or a shape. I recall for the first time when I came to Trinidad, there was a worker who was a friend of my father-in-law. When he will come to work, during the lunchtime, he is given the food to eat. He will sit down on the same dining table and the food will be given to him. There is no discretion that he is a worker. Who knows that he may be more rich than you, more resourceful than you, and in a way you cannot do the renovation on your own. He is well versed in a particular art. You are dressed in your three-piece suit, but when the problem comes with your vehicle, the electric work, you go to the mechanic, but in order to do the work, he may be dressed shabbily, but next to him, his BMW or other vehicle is parked. He is the same individual, carries the same spark of divinity within him. He is experienced in his own field. He is well versed in the art of auto electrical engineering. You are experienced in your own field. You have come here you are going to work, you have to be dressed in a particular manner. Along the way, your car shuts down and it needs electrical work. So the person whom you go, he has just opened his shop, and in order to check your vehicle, first of all, he goes and changes his clothes, because in construction work, you have to use the PPD, the personal care, the particular type of shoes you have to use. Construction, you have to use a particular kind of a gown and a helmet. That is protective gear you have to use. The same way the person has to go and work on your vehicle, his hands will get dirty, his clothes may get dirty, so he puts on a gown. He now looks different. This is simply because the role that he has to perform in your vehicle. Do we see this? So the same way there is a friend and a stranger. With a friend, you are accustomed talking to him. You may be able to share your family matters, personal things. With a stranger, your behavior may be different. You will talk to him. He has come to meet you for some suggestions or something. So you will talk to him in a different manner. The behavior will be different. But there is something common between both of you, between the friend and the stranger. There is no need to pretend with a friend that he is a friend. You are open and speaking to him very frankly. With a stranger, even if you try to act as if he is a friend, it will be pretension, because he is a stranger. He has come to you for the first time. You cannot be the same. Unsameness will be necessary. As far as the behavior is concerned, you will be different. The behavior will be different outwardly on the circumference, but the center of the friend and the stranger and you are the same. The center means you have discovered your original face. You are not different than the other. The blood that flows into your veins is the same. Maybe the group may be different. Maybe the group may be the same. The air that you are exhaling, it becomes a part of the atmosphere, and the breath that the other stranger and the friend are exhaling also forms the part of the cosmos, the existence. And next time you breathe, you are breathing the stranger or the friend, and vice versa. Two people are sitting on the same couch, sharing the same platform. Their feet are on the ground. If there is a problem that a naked electrical wire is on the ground, will it touch you or your stranger? The current will flow in the entire floor, and it will affect the two, the stranger and the friend. Both of you, it does happen at times, husband and wife, they are upset for some reason, sitting on the same couch, using their separate smartphones, which is working on the same center, same Wi-Fi. During the moment when you are upset with your wife or somebody, do you use a different Wi-Fi? Both of you are sitting on the same couch, breathing the same air and exhaling the same air. But one says to the other, don't touch me. Are you aware what are you saying? Don't touch me. You are already, both of you are touching one another through the couch where you are sitting, inhaling one another, using the same Wi-Fi, sharing the same atmosphere, sharing the same light. Is it not so? Do we remember that at that moment? That we are sharing the same light above, we are sharing the same room, the same couch, the same Wi-Fi, same brand of the smartphone, having the feet on the same ground. But if weather is cold, you don't want to share the blanket or the comforter that you are using with the stranger, with the person, with your spouse, because there is a conflict at that moment. There is no need to pretend to a friend that he is a friend. Be normal. At times, we have started a free service. When a customer comes into the store, he is given a complimentary tea, that too if you want. The only that criteria does not apply to the person who is shopping. Only he or she will be given the cup of tea. If you want, you can be offered this cup of tea. The only thing is we take into account that if there are 10 people are shopping from the same family, we try to restrict to 1 or 2 cups of tea. But if the need arises, we can give all. So there is no differentiation between that person who has come to the store is coming for the first time as a customer. Maybe that he may not buy either. But that does not mean our service, the way we attend to a customer, is a stranger, not a friend. We offer them. So what it is, there is no need to pretend to a friend that he is a friend, or with a stranger you try to be that he is a friend. You are dealing with everybody in a friendly and a different way. This is the way that we treat anyone who comes there. Irrespective of your appearances, do you want a cup of tea? A stranger may ask, no. They feel that if you accept the cup of tea, you may be obligated. No, it is complimentary. If you wish, you can be given a cup of tea. So there is no need to pretend to a friend that he is a friend, or to a stranger you try to pretend that you are treating him as a friend. That will be pretension, something new. You cannot be the same. You cannot be the same. Unsame will be necessary. The two things goes together. As far as behavior is concerned, behavior must differ. But as far as your consciousness is concerned, it will remain the same. We offer the same thing, the cup of tea, to a friend who is accustomed coming on a regular basis. There are persons who come on a certain days for meditation live session. So the live session takes place in the office, and there is a stranger, a customer. He is also given the tea. The person who has come for meditation, he goes to the office and sits there. But the stranger will remain within the store. It's not that he is given the cup of tea and ask him to stay outside the store. There is a slight difference in the behavior, but the consciousness is same. The tea is offered to both of them, and you can look at the friend as the stranger and the stranger as a friend. It is difficult. You may have heard, look at the stranger as if he is a friend. Look at the stranger as if he is a friend, but that is not possible. If what I am saying is not possible, first look at your friend as a stranger. First look at the friend as a stranger. Only then you will be able to look at the stranger as a friend. They are correlated. Have you ever looked at your friend as if they are a stranger? Only in the moments when there is a conflict. If you have not done so, then you have not looked at all. Look at your wife. Do you really know her? Look at your husband. Do you really know him? You may have lived with one another for 20, 25 years or even more. The more you live together, the more is the possibility that you will go on forgetting that she is or he is a stranger, and she remains a stranger. However you love her, it will not make any difference. Really, if you love her more, someone has said, in the beginning there will be love between the two. Afterwards, the presence of the two, the togetherness of the two makes this house. The presence of the two, the togetherness physically, emotionally, spiritually makes this particular house. House is not made. Home is not made with bricks, cement and all that. तेरे होने से है ये बिल्डिंग एक घर. By your being here, this is a place livable. If you love her more, the more strange she will look. Because the more you love, the deeper you penetrate, the more you know you know how river like she is, moving, changing, alive, every moment different. If you do not look deeply, if you do not look deeply, if you just stick to the level that she is your wife, that will be this is her name. You only know the name and everything. That you even have chosen a particular person, particular fragment, and you go on thinking that particular fragment is your wife. Your wife is not just name, it's the inner and outer. She is rivering, changing every moment. The moods of the river keeps on changing. If you are sensitive, Herman Hayes has used this word rivering, and he says in that the place where in the novel Siddhartha, he says that Siddhartha was living in a village where on the outskirts a river was flowing. So quite often he will come to sit down by the river side, and he will notice the different moods of the river. This is one of the most beautiful part. Although his life of Herman Hayes was very chaotic, his personal life, the family life was very chaotic, but what he created, what he put the insight into it, is totally different and tremendously beautiful. Changing moods of the river. Have you ever been so sensitive that you can see the changing moods of the river? So your wife, your spouse is like a river, moving, changing, alive. Every moment is different. Do you know this aspect of his or her life? Do you know? You know only that a face, you only know the name, nothing more than that. That you have chosen a particular person. So that is a fragment. Name is a fragment. The face is a fragment. And you go on thinking that the particular fragment as your wife. The appearances, the voice, the name, and whenever she has to change, she has to hide her changes. She may not be in a loving mood, but she has to pretend because you expect love from your wife. You want river to move, to flow in one particular passion, one particular mood. River is alive, and that which is alive, its moods keeps on changing. And this is what Herman has called as rivering. The moods of the river, different moods of the river. You can say that sometimes it is rhythmic, sometimes it is turbulent, sometimes it's serene, there is no movement at all. So that when it is serene, the person wants to remain calm. You want to know if something is wrong with her or with him. He is alive. And aliveness means constantly rivering, flowing in different moods, different rhythms, moods. different. This is what the music is. Life is musical. And music is to be arranged in a mathematical way. So it is not simply artistic, it is scientific. 3 dimensions of life is music first. You take the different notes, arrange them in a particular order or a sequence to create a mood. If you just change the sequence of the notes and then the variation of the pitch, all that together creates a symphony. You are using the notes as the basic element. Arrangement of the notes is known as raga. Then ascending and the descending notes creates the different moods. A particular arrangement of the notes create the morning raga. A particular arrangement of the notes create a different raga, that when that is sung, the lamps lit or the rainfall happens, you may think it is illusory. You would have noticed. Observe this. These days we are using the music systems has bass, so many things. If you are playing the music at a high pitch, bass is raised, you will find the doors start shaking. You will feel that there is a strong vibration taking place within your heart center. Airs everywhere. So the moods we are living in life, we are creating a concert, listening. The varying the pitch is rivering. The energy is waving. That's what Albert Einstein said. When it was atom, he said, what can I do? Its behavior is very strange. Sometimes it is moving in a straight line and all of a sudden it starts waving. This is what the reality of life is. Strange, going in a straight line, all of a sudden it starts waving. That is how the life is. So you are aware of this way the life moves. You love her more. The more you love her, the more strange she may look, because the more you love, the deeper you penetrate, and the more you know about her, you will be aware of the various changing moods. She will start like a river, rivering, waving, moving serenely, and all different things. Then she may not be moving, and whenever she has to change, because you do not want her to be in that way, so she will have to hide her changes, pretend that she is loving. Although the rivering is different, the moods are different, her mood is different. At this particular moment, she does not want to go into love making, but for the maintenance of the family or for relationships, she has to hide her emotions and pretend. Does it not happen quite often in our lives? She may not be in a loving mood then, but she has to pretend because you expect love from your spouse. Then everything becomes false. She's not allowed to change. The children's emotions are hurt. they are crying, you want them, the mother says, stop crying, otherwise I will hit you again. You are teaching them how to remain, to live a false life. She is not allowed to be herself. Then something is being forced on her. Then the whole relationship goes dead. The more you love, the more you will feel the changing patterns in a person. The more you love the person, deeper you go into that person, you will be aware of the changing moods, changing patterns. You sit down by the riverside, deeply meditate on the moods of the river. You will find the river is rivering, it's different moods. If you sit down in meditation, you will remember, you will be aware of the changing moods of yours. By just the presence, you will know the changing moods. And each moment, that person is a stranger to you. You cannot predict. You want the life to be predictable. You cannot predict. You cannot say how your husband is going to behave tomorrow morning or how your wife will behave tomorrow morning. You can predict only if you have a husband who is dead, who is not revering, or a spouse or wife who is not flowing. Predictions are possible only about things, never about persons. Your couch will remain the same place where it was put, but not that which is alive, not that which is pulsating with life. Nothing can be predicted about that. Predictions are possible only about things, never about the human beings. If some person is predictable, know well, he is dead. At times you will hear the says that you don't know what he will say. He is a strange, you don't know. You want to be predictable about your husband, about your wife, about your friend. It cannot be possible. This is the crux of the matter that you have to understand. His living then will be false. So only then you can predict. Nothing is predictable. At this moment, you are making the tea for your spouse. Because yesterday she took the tea, you carried it. No, I don't want this tea. I want the chamomile flavor today. Is it not to happen or something? So better ask, would you like to have a cup of tea? That is what I ask. Would you like to have a cup of tea? Oh, sure. We have 3 flavors, ma'am. 3 flavors. What are the flavors? Cardamom, masala, and ginger. Which one would you like to have it now? You know that a person is revering and it has to decide which flavor tastes better. It all depends on you and at the particular moment your mood. You say which one you will like. And at times people ask which one is better. I said, what I will do. She asked me, the customer, which one will you choose? I said, everything is good. All the flavors are good. It depends upon at the moment what you want. I said, what will you do? I said, I will close my eyes and whichever one I put my hand into or whichever one comes in my hand, I will use that. Because that means that is what is needed at that moment. He said, that's a strange way. I said, but that is how the life is. If you have feeling a little rash, the discomfort in your throat, you can use ginger. You want a little soothing, you can use cardamom. What about mixing all these? No problem. You can mix it up all that. It all depends upon your moods. What you want to eat. Have a taste of now. How will it taste if we mix up all three flavors? Doesn't it happen at times that when you are cooking a biryani, in that all the different flavors, the spices goes there, ginger goes there, cardamom goes there, and with other things the flavor becomes different, it's palatable. You have to know how to blend these things. So life is comprehensive. I am not here to teach you only the scriptures, to read the Psalms, and so life is a scripture. The food, how it is to be cooked, how the spices is to be blended, how you can present your food when it is to be plating is an important aspect. About the different herbs mixing in order. So what it is you are teaching the every aspect of life. Life is not simply one dimensional. It is multi-dimensional, and the richest person is one who knows, who is well versed in all the dimensions of life. How you would like to use your food, how would you like to manage your cupboards, your living room, how you plate the food. This is all science and art together. A spiritual life is not one dimensional. All the aspects. In dealing with the spiritual life, I don't need to deal with your problems with your spouse, but it is an essential dimension of your life. Food is another essential dimension of your life. Sex is not merely one aspect, it is a very comprehensive word. Desire. Sex means desire. The desire for food, good food, or anything there, that is also forms a part of that. The very meaning of the word kam. It is said, kam vasna, sex, lust. It is desire. Very comprehensive word. When we talk about Upanishad, when we talk about male-female relationship, when you talk about nisbat, when you come sit down at the feet of the master, what it is? Is it that you sit down in front of the master and you are roaming somewhere else? It happened with Nanak. Nanak used to say there is no difference between mosque and temple and all that. So one of the Maulanas said that today is Friday, we are going to offer the prayer for Jummah. Would you come to offer namaz to the mosque? Nanak said, no problem, I will come. But you remember, I will offer namaz only if you do. The man did not understand. He was just on the surface. Nanak is below the surface. So he said, but I am going to offer the namaz. He said, my condition is I will offer namaz only if you offer namaz. So Nanak went. The man, the Maulvi, the Nawab, whosoever it was offering namaz. But Nanak did not do anything, he remained standing. Now he is bubbling inside, boiling inside, but on the surface he is pretending that he is offering namaz to the altar. When somehow the other, out of anger, the namaz was not namaz, it was simply a pretension. He said, but you told me that you will offer namaz. He said, Nanak said, yes, I told you, but I said, only if you offer the namaz. He said, but I was offering namaz. He said, you were offering namaz, you were buying the horse in Kabul. The man is startled. How did you know? He said, yes, indeed. The most beautiful horse had died. The precious horse had died. And I was thinking it is a rainy season. How can I go to the Kabul where there is used to be the market where people will bring the horses and go to buy. And your imam, behind who you were offering the namaz, he was not offering the namaz. He was simply wondering, the crop is ready, there is a shortage of labor, how can I offer, how can I arrange to have the labor to get the crop cut? Your prayers is like that. When you sit down at the feet of the Master, are you there with him? Nisbat means when you are connected heart to heart. The energy is flowing, there is no obstruction, there is no, it is the copper wire through which the energy is flowing. This is Nisbat. If you know this way, then you are at the feet of the Master. This is Upanishad. So you may say that, how am I saying it? Naqshbandi Upanishad? Naqshbandi and Upanishad? Yes, when you sit down at the feet of the Master. Upanishad is not a Hindi word. It is the whole aspect of the Master-disciple relationship, communion. When you are at the feet of the Master, there is no thought flowing into you, no obstruction. The energy begins to flow with one another. The energy flows from the Master towards you. It starts waving, it starts having the different moods to flow into you, creates the difference, brings about transformation in your life. This is Nisbat. And this Nisbat comes when you are sitting at the feet of the Master. There is love flowing, there is psychological connection, you are connected at every level of that commune. It is not a communication. The words are flowing, the gaps between the words are rivering, words are arranged in a musical symphony. The letter A, B, when you can pronounce a particular word in a particular rhythm, Aro and Avro, the ascending and descending notes, creating the gaps. That's why the music means the real music is not in the music but in the gaps that music create in your consciousness. Grooves it can create. The words are not important. The groove that words create in your consciousness brings about the transformation. This is Nisbat. This is Upanishad. When you are, Master wants to communicate you in that way, only then transformation is possible. If you want transformation to happen in your life to attain to multidimensionality, you have to go through this. Let us keep this here. until tomorrow, because the session has become a little longer. The time does not matter when it comes to the matter flowing this way. So let us end this session now. Until tomorrow, take care and do have a pleasant day.